Welcome to this channel. I'm Kay. There's no real danger. There's no danger. There's no danger. There's no danger. I'm gonna repeat 3 times. Three times. There's no danger. Why? Because when it comes to danger, it comes from fear, right? And how does danger even start? It starts with paranoia. Paranoia is a state of mind where a person does not reality check. What does it mean? It means when the person is using his or her intellectual faculty to think, but at the same time suppressing emotions experiencing within, would then cause an individual to experience paranoia. This is actually a result of divergent thinking plus negativity. The formula here is that if divergent thinking is actually very powerful, if we use it, if we take advantage of it, the formula is divergent thinking, or let's simplify it as divergence. Divergence plus negativity equals paranoia, and that would lead to anxiety. And then when anyone is in an anxious state, it brings a sense of danger. Okay, so is there actually real danger? No. There's only paranoia. Paranoia gives rise to all sorts of intrusive thinking, intrusive imaginations, and all kinds of self-sabotaging actions. Yes, because when it comes to paranoia or paranoid episodes, all these are actually draining one's own life force, killing one's own brain cells, and causing one to be in a fear state. So, is it good for our health or well-being? Maybe not. So, this is one formula, right, when it comes to divergence. Another formula, which is if you take advantage of it, of divergent thinking, is very, very useful. So it really depends on how we choose to direct our thoughts into which direction would then become a totally different experience or say outcome. So divergence plus positivity equals creativity. Yay! So basically it's all about how we which direction we choose. So it's either positivity or negativity. If we choose negativity, it would result in paranoia, which would lead to all sorts of, anxious thoughts and also fear-based thoughts. It's not gonna feel good. However, if we choose to combine divergent thinking with positivity, then that would result in creativity. Now, the very common denominator, the common trait that they both share would be convergence, right? Because they both start with divergence. So for both creativity, both outcomes, creativity or paranoia, so one would be from positivity, which is creativity. The other one would be from negativity, which would result in paranoia. That leads to anxiety, right? So both outcomes, creativity and paranoia, they both need convergence to help them to be resolved naturally. So for creativity, one would need convergence in the form of grounding these these ideas, creative ideas into physical reality. So we have to put the ideas into forms, into actual perceivable images. You can draw them out, or words, written form, or speech, or even music, right? Sound. So this is convergence, different ways of converging creativity, the creative ideas, into physical reality. And so that would come to a resolution because now it's grounded. Now for paranoia, it's the same. We also use convergence to ground. What does it mean? When anyone is experiencing, or when anyone experiences paranoia, we would then use grounding techniques to help calm the mind and the body, such as like breath work, right? And also looking around the room and then just pointing at or looking at items, objects, just to have oneself feeling anchored into reality, not feeling floating. Okay, so all kinds of techniques that helps us to ground basically is convergence. So what we can see from this is that both outcomes are simply results of divergent thinking, because if they both need convergence to help them to resolve, that means they are it's just, I'm trying to prove using this kind of formula, because if anything needs convergence, basically it is pretty divergent originally. So that is why it's important to understand this superpower of anxiety, because anxiety is originally a fuel for creativity. It depends on how one chooses to direct the pathway. So if one chooses positivity, then it would become creativity. If one chooses divergent thinking with negativity, it would then become paranoia. So how can we apply this in daily life, right? The way that we can apply this in daily life is that I'm not suggesting that you do it on spot. Like, okay, now so I'm divergent thinking, I now need to combine it with positivity. No, I don't really mean it this way. It's actually much simpler than this. It's basically feeding our brain with positive materials on a daily basis. So listen to positive music, have positive conversations, and also listen to positive news. Yeah, absolutely, yes. And also be around positive people. Watch videos that are positive, and also be aware of anything that we consume information-wise. Try to be aware that if they are actually good for our well-being and positive for our wellness overall in general. So this, as we do it on a daily basis, feeding our brain, feeding ourselves with positivity, the formula that I suggested in the beginning would naturally be applied to our daily lives. It would just naturally be that way, because it's just a system. It's just how we input whatever we input in our brain would just digest it and regurgitate whatever we fit into it, or digest, and then it would just become such an outcome. So the more positive things or thoughts, music, people that we feed our brain, our daily activities with, would then result in creativity. It's a natural result. It's not even forced. It's just how organic it is, like how organic we are. It's simple as that. So if we choose to watch a lot of negative news, listen to negative music, especially the lyrics. Be aware of the lyrics. We listen to the songs, the music, even if we are not aware of the lyrics, our brain actually catches. Our brains catch the lyrics without us consciously knowing it. It's subconscious. It is subconscious. So be aware of the lyrics. And and also any kind of negative conversations. Do people around you complain a lot? Do people around you vent a lot? Do people around you try to project on you with their own worries and insecurities? Be aware of this, because all of this are subconsciously causing you or us to be in a state of negativity. And so if you are a neurodivergent, or you are someone that is very good at divergent thinking, or you just generally quite easy to get paranoid or anxious, be aware of this, okay? So feed yourself, feed your brain on a daily basis with positive materials. Very quickly you would realize that your speech would start to change. You speaking to yourself would start to change because you listen to affirmations, okay? You can even positively affirm yourself on a daily basis. Before you go to bed, before you go to sleep, start with positive affirmations. You can search on Google or Pinterest, just type in positive affirmations, self-affirmations, and then you can just read it to yourself. It is just how we reprogram ourselves to understanding that we are safe, we are not in danger. Now that's what I meant by there's no real danger. There's no real danger. Look, if we actually, people might say, hey, of course there's real danger. If you are near a cliff, right, you might fall down. Then would you say this is not danger? This can be perceived as a sense of danger, but it's coming from an animal instinct, right? Because you think you would die. But if you know what death is, if you know you don't really die, it's just that your body would die, but you never really die, then would you be feeling dangerous? You feel dangerous, yes, but there's no real danger. There's a difference here. One would feel dangerous, or feel something could be dangerous, but there's no real danger. This is actually the truth. Well, to me at least, we can feel dangerous, like, oh, this feels so dangerous, but there's no real danger. What I mean by that is there's no danger, there's only perceived danger. There's no real danger, there's only perceived danger. It's just how we feel about something would cause us to feel like that is dangerous. Just as how this is actually paranoia. This could, like, if it's not just coming from an animal instinct, but in a more amplified form, it would then manifest into paranoia in the psyche, mentally. That's why there are many people would feel like I have to attack first, because if I don't attack now, they might attack me first. That is paranoia. There's no real danger. There's only perceived danger because this person has experienced a lot of such attacks since childhood. The brain is programmed into thinking that this person is always in danger mode. This person is always surrounded by danger. Like, I quote unquote, I'm always surrounded by danger, so I have to be vigilant. I have to be aware. I have to be alert because they are going to attack me. No. No. You're safe. You're safe. We have to learn to train our brain. We have to learn to trust again that we are safe. The more that we think we are unsafe, the more that we think we are in danger, the more that we would manifest such experiences in. It's all about what we believe in. It's all about what we choose to believe in and what we choose to define. It's all about definitions. It's all about definitions. If we choose to believe in danger, so shall it be. It would then become dangerous. It would then become more and more dangerous as the paranoia grows. So the key here is to think positively. Really, think positively, but I'm not suggesting that, like, now think positively is not that bad. No, feed your brain daily, on a daily basis, with positive thinking, with positive materials. It is a gradual process. It's not something that is just like, change it now. Because if your brain is so accustomed to thinking negatively, it is not easy for it to just suddenly switch to a mindset that is positive. So look, for this many years, if you have been listening to negativity, like listening to negative thoughts, negative conversations, surrounded by people that embody more or less negativity, you have spent I don't know how many years in such an environment, then naturally it takes some time for your brain to relearn, or say first to unlearn all this negative thinking, and then relearn the positive thinking. It takes a bit of time. So it's not just like click and that's done. No, we have to take a little bit of time to keep feeding our brain with that. And the more that we feed it, the more that the brain would begin to understand, okay, we're now relearning the language. We have to relearn, we have to unlearn the negative language. Now we have to learn the positive language. Okay, it's just scientific. It's just logic. Let's put it, it's just logic. It's just logic. So, yeah, that's it. That's what I would love to share today. So, there's no danger. It's only perceived danger. And this kind of perceived danger comes from paranoia. And paranoia comes from divergent thinking plus negativity, right? So if in that slot, the blank, fill in the blank, right? Fill in the blank, switch that negativity to positivity, then you would get creativity. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for your support. What was it? What would I say? Thank you for your support, time and patience. Okay, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.